Hey guys, today's episode's a bit more interesting and a little bit different. Here we can see right now we're playing through the game in a bit of a faster version. Yes, it's finally a time lapse. And in this time lapse I'm going to be going around and we're going to be actually setting up the entire farm. And hopefully throughout this entire process also making it so that we have a new source of income. Now I want to diversify this a bit. I was choosing what to go with and I kind of chose to go with grapes. I had a bit of fun trying to get it to where you could go down and find it. I had to scroll through each time and that is pretty annoying and I wish they changed that. Devs, please. But yeah, we set up this field with the grapes of choice, 2 of the blue and 3 of the red. I can't remember their names, I'm going to try and pronounce them if I remember them. And then this is where I decided I wanted some extra storage. And as you can see here, I'd already run into a slight issue. So I decided to do something like this and have like a cool design to it. Problem is, once you actually put this down and try and mirror it, the barns are in the way. So that point is like, okay, we're gonna need to do something a bit different. So we put the barns on the inner road and this actually works. Sorry, by barns I mean garages. And these garages are here to put all the materials and tractors and anything they'll need. Let's just say by the end of the episode we're using a lot of tractors. Way too many. That one there, by the way, I deleted because it was bugged. It was showing us already in it when there wasn't. So as you can see already, we're kind of buying in a heck of a lot of them. And I'm trying to balance it out evidently, and that's going as smooth as it possibly could, you know. In all things said, and it's pretty interesting actually how the farm panned out considering we're going around putting in all these different tractors and machine parts. I mean, props off to me. I mean, we made it work, we pulled it off. And we pulled it off in such a way that I'm kind of impressed. Not only because we've made a very cool thing, but in a minute you'll hear how much this actually made us before the year had even actually technically ended. So there's still time for it to make money, but it's definitely made its money back, without a doubt in my mind. At least the farm has made money that would cover the cost of this by the end of the episode easily. I think we went into this spending like 5 million. That's probably overly stating it, but I'd rather be higher than lower. Let's just say we made that money back easily. So as we're going through this, we're selecting out all the different parts we'll need and going on each farm field and going, what do you need and what do you need? And then once I'm satisfied, as you can see, we're hiring workers that have only got machines. So I don't really think endurance will be necessary considering how many people I'm going to be hiring. The volume of people down here is going to be a bit insane, but all the stuff they're making down here is going to go towards our production lines in other places, which in itself is going to be great. But it's cool as always. So as you can see anyway, we're getting all the barns in again. Now we're adding to our collection because I found that we didn't have enough tractors. Kind of funny that that's the statement I had to say here. And then I decided if I wanted to get some combined harvesters, and I kind of said no because I don't think we need any. And I think an episode we'll find out we definitely didn't. At the time I was like, maybe I need some. I don't. And what I'm doing here is just seeing the coverage on these people. And what you'll notice, the upper fields that are closest to our current civilization, they were already ready. And that's because the buildings up there were covering it just enough. Insane that that's the case, but they were doing it. And there you go, we cannot skip winter and allow them to be ready in the fields for the next year because the fields are at work. Bit of a shame, but then again, there is nothing you can do. What you'll see here is I'll go in and upgrade each one. Sometimes I'll cut this out. I think I forgot one of these buildings out. I could be wrong, but I do not remember doing all of them, embarrassingly. So yeah, you can see there I didn't even bother clicking on one. There you go. It's a pure example of that. But then again, I have left these kind of things alone at times because they're not necessarily relevant. So anyway, as you can see, we're really accommodating for these farm fields at this point. We're getting some real production going and it's just insane to look at this and see how many fields are currently being worked on. There is not a metric available to me to say on how many really are. So, and I do love how I had to fix that one tractor facing the wrong way then, but it felt appropriate to me to change it around, so I made the decision to turn it around. Why not, eh? So anyway, here's our first big sale. We're selling mainly stuff that we already had in stock. Although I did lump that in with the amount we made today a bit. I also lumped in the amount that we made from the products that we sold from the specific site. And I'll give a hint now. It's double digits in the million range. So yeah, that gives you an idea. But we definitely had a bit of fun with this because not only did we get to expand this entire enterprise, we're kind of getting to see what it'd be like to do on a expensive and yet coverable scale of field farming. I mean, we're not losing any major amounts of source of income because actually, for a matter of fact, we're in the net positive anyway. So I'd have prior notice if this was uneconomical long term. Now granted, this is probably not economical just to grow the crop and sell the crop by 1.5 miles, but it's definitely economical to grow the crop and process the crop in the light of the sunflower and the grapes. The spinach won't be really usable, and that's just an inevitable thing. And then the apples will, but they're going to go with some stuff inside of a fruit processor. So there's a bit of an interesting gimmick going on with that, without a doubt in my mind, as you've got a lot of stuff you got to process through, no pun intended, and those things take time as there is a process to that. Again, no pun intended. So as you can see here, we had to buy in a lot of stock. I hate when I had to do that, and at some point in this, I'm gonna be like, maybe I should start producing that, but my mind just said, yeah, no, maybe not yet. At some point we will start producing these kind of things on our farms, but we were just experimenting with these mega farms here and just trying to get an idea on how effective this would actually be in the long run. I mean, we could make this entire thing one specific product in this one giant field and then do another one on the other side and then repeat and repeat. That's probably what I'm going to do at some point. Whether that's immediate, I don't know, but I do kind of like how it is currently anyway, just a side note that. But then, you know, it's one of those. Something I also want to just address is how cinematics look in this. It's really cool actually, and you'll see at some point I'll be stationary just staring at it going, this is what I've built. And that is my mentality with this. You know, I've built this complex web of like, here's like a dozen tractors for you guys to go out and do all these fields at once. That's something in itself. I mean, that many fields at once, it's insane, especially when you got all the logistics of all those parts they need. And you can see as you look around the occasional field that says not enough workers, not enough materials. That's fine, I'm not fazed at all by that, not at all. So, but as you can see again, we're lumping in another sale. In theory this would take us up to 5 million to be less than on the ball with that. Let's just say 5 million so far. Okay, so you might be like, okay, 5 mil, not much. If you look at the top left, we have a boatload of money there. 34 million, I mean, probably spent a boatload on this prior to that really, and had to rise back up evidently. And I'm trying not to count all the money that we're making averagely right now, but I still do in some ways. So, and here's one of the problems: I had to hire in outside workers because, well, these spinach fields aren't harvestable by any machinery. Why that is beyond me. I know for a fact after a year of that test to see how much it sells for, we won't be doing that again. I mean, it has no benefit to it. So yeah, I'm probably going to revert back to sunflowers though, make it interesting. But there is actually a benefit to it because it grows so fast. The reason for that is literally because these fields, you plant it and it's just regrows on the spot. It'll be like cress, where you can cut the heads off the cress as long as the seed is still there, and there's not all of them, but most of it is left. It's able to regrow pretty effectively, and I love how that happens. I mean, I remember being a kid and put on your windowsill and you grow a little bit of cress, you know, and I'll admit occasionally I'd pinch a little bit, and it was interesting to see it grow so efficiently and quickly. And I don't think I've ever really used cress since being a kid. With the occasion of maybe one meal a chef might put a little bit on. I can think of one time that's happened. And then there's Toby Carvery, which I had a chef who made a meal that actually did that. And the waiter said, just so you know, there's cress on the top. I'm like, you buy cress in? He's like, no, they grow it. Oh. Like, oh. They grow it. Like, yeah. Okay then. Never heard of this one before. I'm not sure if they're supposed to, but I don't work at Toby-Cari. I find it a bit unusual, but there you go. Now, I didn't sell the product there. I just looked at how much it would sell for clarity. I just purely want to have a nosy. Not much is the answer, so we're probably spending more on the spinach than we're making back in investment currently. Pretty expectable. Isn't a product we're trying to grow and produce on mass scale anyway, though. So, end of the day, it's not a big loss for us to have that issue. If anything, it's just a sign that we're making a product that's really fast producible, but really ain't usable. And that is a shame. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's other than that is the interesting thing. But what we have here now is me just staring at this and kind of watching how these are developing and moving along. And I find it really interesting just looking around and working out what we'd need. And I'm like, okay, we now need to do an oil farm. It's not going to fit there. I have an idea where I'm going to put it eventually. But I just wanted to see if it could actually go anywhere. Couldn't, sadly. So there you go. But anyway, let's just give you a second to see how efficient this farm actually is, shall we? You know, I'm not going to talk too much. I want to talk about something else while you watch this. This series will be getting some time lapses here and there and short episodes because it's not doing as successful as it started out. And a lot of the feedback I've read so far is more leaning towards it's too big of an episode. They want more time lapse work. They want more of this, and they want a episode in between that has a time lapse to break it up a bit. As well as that, I'm going to be removing the Call of Duty series schedule off the daily to having it bulk uploaded in 1 week following this week, I believe, possibly even the week after. That is a purely practical decision. I had 6 views on 2 episodes, which for my channel is, and I'll actually pull it up and read it off. I mean, I was expecting it to take off and do great, but Foundation took off and has 939 views. Call of Duty has 5 views. 5 views. And I know I left it a while because they brought the game out a little bit early. My schedule didn't allow for any changes and a lot of complex myriad of issues. Still, I expected a lot of 5. Like, damn. That's a pretty small amount for me. So that won't be on the daily schedule. That'll be on a impromptu schedule now. So that's what I wanted to bring up real quick. I was going to tell you how much reduced wise that would be. I'm going to pull it up straight away. That is the equivalent of a 998% reduction. Oof. Over a long time though, yeah, it's not over a day's time. So, okay, how long does that count for? Oh, compared to Foundation, yeah, I can see that. I don't know how they get the hundreds or above, but Jesus, I don't think the math actually works out on that, but that's YouTube for you. That gives you an idea of why. But I am going to be ramping up Foundation because that is insane to me. I did that as a purely like, hey, we're going to do this series on the sideline. That is now the series. Insane to me. The episode 2, as we're talking right now and I'm filming on the day it's released, is at 99 views. 1 more view would get us over the first 100 in the first day, which is actually a lot more than usual. And we saw with the episode 1 of it, and not episode 2, episode 1 of it took off 2 days after it released, which is insane, so it clearly picked up. But anyway, let's get back on target. We've only got 30 seconds left, and as we can see, we could just visually see, well, look how much we're producing in grapes and then spinach, how all the fields are getting actually farmed and managed as they are, and I'm just buying more stuff in there. And what I'm doing here is I'm literally pricing up how much we've made in this day's sitting, and as you can see here, spinach alone is 500,000. The grapes are probably 250,000 if you were to be generous. And then other products that we've stored, made up to 10 million. That's 15 million in one day, but I'll say 10 million by episode. And that's pretty cool. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. We do hope you've enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like episode and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.